Hey everybody, here we are getting ready for my live chat on bullying. And we all have had them. We've all dealt with the mean girls in our life. And I can tell you, I used to have an ex-boyfriend who would always say to me, I have had enough, Kelly. And he would say, enough is enough. And enough is what I've had an abundance of. And every single time he would say this to me, I would just roll my eyes. It was the last thing I ever wanted to hear in the world. But that's what I can say about mean girls. When I think about mean girls, I think about what he always said to me. And that was, enough is enough. And enough is what I've had an abundance of. So I see all kinds of people coming in. Hi, Robin. Hi, Sherry Ann. I saw Laura come on. Angelique's on here. Hi, everybody. Hi, Candy. Hi, Melinda. So I'm going to let a lot of people come on. Dee's on here. Hi, Dee. I know I've gotten a lot of messages about this topic and about everything that goes along with the mean girls. Hi, Denise. I think that we've all experienced them. Hi, Mariah. And it's just such an overwhelming thing when you deal with a mean girl. And I think we've all dealt with them since junior high. Hi, Nadia. Hi, Robin. Hi, Gladys. So here's what I'm talking about when I say a mean girl. Hi, Julie. Hi, Jess. I told someone the other day, they asked me what my topic was going to be. Hi, Paisley. Hi, Yvonne. And I said my topic was going to be mean girls. And she said, I can be a mean girl. And then she said, if you hurt someone I love, or if you talk about someone I love. And I said, that's not a mean girl. When you defend someone you love, that's being loyal. If you come after someone's child, that's being mama bear. Mama bear and being a loyal friend, hi Bonnie, are totally different than being a mean girl. So mean girls, we all know. Tonight what I'm going to talk about are the two different types of mean girls. One is the kind of mean girl that you deal with in person. Hi Bunny, hi Carrie. And the mean girls that we deal with in person, they might be friends. Yeah, we have friends who can treat us like mean girls. Hi, Kelly. And then also, we have family who can be mean to us. We have mean girls in our own family. We have mean girls at work. We have colleagues who are mean girls. Hi, Chastity. And so, the mean girl phenomenon doesn't isolate itself to one type of group of people. So here we go. Let's kind of start talking about some of these mean girls. I mean, they're everywhere. In high school, we dealt with them. Mean girls are kind of like wolves. They run in a pack. Nancy said she's a mama bear to a T. I love it. And so they're in packs and they're really hard. And the bad thing about mean girls in high school is they grow up to be mean women. And then we all have to deal with the mean women in our lives. And people think, oh, well, I don't know that I really have mean girls. Like sometimes they're just kind of harsh. They have a hard sense of humor. No, it's not a hard sense of humor. That's bullying. That's definitely bullying. People who put you down at work, people who criticize your performance, that's a type of mean girl. And you have to be careful for the people who say everything and then say, I'm just kidding, girl. You know I didn't mean that. They meant that. They meant that. Angelique said mean girls is the nice way of saying ugly people. Their soul is ugly. Well, that's her opinion. I don't know if their soul is ugly, but their behavior is definitely ugly. Hi, Lisa. And it's just something that we have to deal with and we have to learn to maneuver. But I want to talk about the covert mean girl. The people who say everything under the guise of humor. Trust me, the truth is often clothed in jest. And when we're dealing with people who want to say things and then say to us, oh, girl, I'm just kidding. Hi, Mary. Take that seriously. Oh, my son is on here. Hi, Alec. Because those words and those comments hurt us. I had a family member who always in high school, whenever she would come to visit, it was an aunt of mine, And she never had anything good to say about me when she came. Hi, Mark Hawker. She always would have something rude and hurtful to say. I remember I came home one day from school, and here's my aunt sitting in the kitchen, and she said, oh my God, she said, all Kelly's gotten is fat. As you can imagine, hi Margie, I never wanted to see this aunt come to visit, and I was always happy when she left. And my mom would excuse her behavior. My mom would say, oh, Kelly, that's just who she is. She's just hard around the edges. You just have to get used to it. She loves you. That's just her way. Anybody who tries to hurt you and bully you and say mean things about you, that you can't excuse that as just being their way. It didn't feel like love to me, and it certainly was because she was an unhappy person. She had a lot of issues of her own that she had to deal with, and she had a lot of jealousy in her life. So as a result, she took those things out on her niece and many, many, many other people. Hi, Christy. Angelique, you're exactly right. Love isn't supposed to hurt. So what do? There's actually a term for these mean girls. Hi, Kelly. Another Kelly's watching. And a technical term in social work and in the therapeutic world. And it's called social or relational aggression. And really, that's just a fancy term for bullying. But it's because people use those social means to be able to isolate you and to try to intimidate you and to do a lot of different things with that behavior. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into what the bullies that surround us at work and our families, in our circle, our social circle. Hi, Susan Ann. What they're really all about, because we're going to also get to how to handle them, because there is a way to handle bullies, and we're going to talk about it. Sadly, you would think that as grown women, we would all want to support and lift each other up, but it isn't like that. There are a lot of hurt people out there, and hurt people do what? We all know, hurt people hurt people. So, hi Joan. Larry Moss is on here. Hi Larry. So, Larry's out in Texas. It's got to be warm out there. Hi Bob. So, when we're talking about these people who want to use this social or relational aggression, what is that really about? It is a covert assault. It is what it is. And it assaults our self-worth. It assaults our own, even empathy for ourselves, because we start to think maybe there's someone who say, oh my God, like, girl, you make me do all the work. Like, you never pull your weight around here. Don't buy into that. Like, we start to believe what their put downs are. And we start to think, well, maybe I'm not pulling my weight. Maybe I am the one who is like the weakest link in this project. We start to take on that, because the one thing that you can count on is that a bully wants to be able to make you feel less than. There's different types of bullying behavior. One of them is ignoring you. We've all had that at work, right? Where you walk in the room and all of a sudden everybody's quiet. No one has anything to say, like do, 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 do. And you're wondering, what exactly did I do that everybody's ignoring me? Hi, Tina. Hi, Nina. And hi, Nancy. Like Stockholm Syndrome, you said, in a way. But so then we spend the rest of our day thinking, what did I do to make everyone ignore me? And see, that's how they work. They get into your psyche. You're exactly right, Melissa. The workplace can be so much more hurtful than high school. And so we're being ignored, right? That's one way. They isolate us. That's another way. They exclude us. We all know. So you're going along, you're waiting for lunch. Everybody else is going out to lunch, but guess what? They don't ask you. You're sitting there. And if you ever said, well, why didn't I get invited to lunch? Not that most of us would ever say that, but what if you did? Then they say something like, well, you never go. Well, it doesn't matter if someone never goes. People don't like to be excluded. And then you wonder what's going on. I'm sure when they're all out to lunch, what they have to say about me. Isolation, ignoring you, excluding you. It's all a bully move. My cousin is on here. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Missy. Melissa Kirk Chambers. That's my cousin watching all the way from Florida. So, a lot of times bullies, especially in the workplace, will come at us from a friendly place initially. They'll come and they'll act all nice and friendly to us, and they'll get us to trust them. And then as soon as we give them the smallest little piece of information, they blast it to everybody. Usually they don't just blast it, but they add to it. They change it. They distort it. So they've betrayed our trust, and now they have everybody at work all up in an uproar thinking, this is what you said. This is what she said about me. And now we have a whole pack again of mean girls coming after one person. It's a bullying behavior. And the thing is, you can go to your supervisor. Most supervisors are never going to really respond to bullying. It has to be so outrageous for a corporation to respond to it. I think that I read a study the other day that said that corporate bullying, like 62% of all cases, are just simply ignored. So we don't have a lot of options at work when we're getting bullied. We have to learn to be able to handle that ourselves. Nancy, you're exactly right. Bullies are very sneaky. They're very underhanded. So they start gossiping and spreading rumors about us. They start saying all the things that they know will hurt. And again, what does it do? It isolates us. It excludes us. It embarrasses us. And we don't quite know how we're going to deal with that. And that's their whole purpose. It's what they want to do. In a family setting, we've all had those family settings where we have people who say things. In my family, I had never been married. So at family events, people always wanted to say, oh, here comes the old maid. Like she's never found anybody to take her off the market yet. You know, the big joke always was, oh, Kelly's just going to, die alone. She's going to be that old maid sitting on a rocking chair. All of that was bullying. And then they'd all laugh, ha ha, I love you, girl. It really isn't funny. It isn't anything that is anything except what it is. And that is bullying. And it's the same thing with people who don't have children. People do it all the time. They say something along the lines of, oh, well, girl, when you have kids, then you'll know what real stress is. That is such, I'm sorry, but that's a bitch move. To say that to somebody who doesn't have kids and to say, well, once you're a mom, you'll finally figure out what real stress is. That's a bully move. It's not an LOL. It's not an LMAO. It's somebody who's trying to take an underhanded stab at you and hurt your feelings, and make you feel less than. And Laura said, girl, I was told I was going to die alone with my pug by a man. Well, you know what? It'd probably be better to die with that beautiful Lola by your side than the man who said that, because he's got to be a hot mess to say that to you. Hashtag bitch move. You're exactly right. Who says those kind of things to another person? Sorry, y'all. Got my pretty face water bottle. I hope you're all getting your water in. You know you need to. Robin said, I was told I was weird because I never had kids at a family setting. Exactly. It's all bullying. It's people trying to put you down for something that's really either your choice or maybe even out of your control. And it's rude and it's hurtful. So we go on. The thing you have to really hold on to and think about is that this mean girl behavior, it's not normal behavior. It isn't. And you can sometimes work or be in a family where it's tolerated and it's accepted, and people think that it's acceptable, and it isn't. But it becomes the way of norm in the environment you're at. And so how do you really handle the mean girl? That's what I really want to talk about a little bit more, because to deal with the mean girl, I'll tell you what you have to do. You have to understand the mean girl. And once you understand where the mean girl is actually coming from, that's going to be your secret power in dealing with her. If you can understand what makes that girl tick, and you have a crystal clear understanding of what bullies do and why they do it, it's easier for you to develop a strategy to cope. So, I mean, I know I'm getting all kinds of comments on here. I'm trying to read them and incorporate some of them as we go, but there's just a lot that people are saying, and some of them are even actually longer than I can read on my screen. So let's kind of talk about it. Let's talk about the anatomy of a mean girl. Hi, Terry. Hi, Ron and Ashley. So you look at the anatomy of a mean girl and you think, like she's heartless. She's got to be heartless. She might have everything else I have in this body, but she's got to be heartless. Trust me when I tell you she's not heartless. She's got a heart in there. It's just probably been broken at one time or another. And I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm not saying on any level, oh, understand, give them a big group hug. No, that's not what I'm saying, because trust me, they're not going to respond to that, and it's only going to make things worse for you. But this is something that I think is really, really powerful. When we look at bullies, the data and the stats show that people who have experienced bullying at some point in their life are twice as likely as the person who hasn't been bullied to become a bully. So when you look at that, it's also a fact that a third of bullies have come from dysfunctional family environments and environments that have been incredibly abusive and hurtful. There could be physical violence in the home. So you have this person who's already experienced some type of abuse, and this is the background they're coming from. And I think we can all agree and relate that hurt people hurt people. We've all experienced that. So this sounds like a pretty angry person to me. Now, a small part of the population who is a bully is actually a narcissist. And narcissists aren't a huge percentage of the population, but we all know they're the people who are like, oh yeah, I'm all that. And they actually truly believe that. It's a clinical disorder. They think they're beyond reproach. They don't think that on any level that they have to respond or answer in the way the rest of us do. So we have the narcissists, and they are extreme bullies, some of them. But then the majority of people are just hurting people. They are insecure, they're jealous, they're competitive with other women, they lack the security that they need, they feel powerless in their own right. And so how do they get that power? By bullying other women. And I can tell you, these type of women are experts. They're experts at finding women who will not defend themselves. Trust me when I tell you, they can pick you out of a crowd. If you're somebody who's going to sit back and not respond and not defend yourself and just quietly take the abuse, they can sniff you out in a heartbeat. And they know, hi Nicole, they know for sure you're an easy target for them, and they are going to be relentless in their bullying of you. So what do? The other thing is recognizing the bully. I think a common misconception is the bully is this big monstrous looking person who is, just a scary looking beast. That's not the way at all. Guess what? A lot of bullies are very popular and very charismatic people. And when they are that way, when they come in a package that people think, oh my gosh, what a great human being, look at her, she's so outgoing and this and that, then people automatically have a hard time thinking this could ever be a bully, when absolutely they're a bully. So never mistake someone's level of physical attractiveness or an impressive job title. Don't mistake socioeconomic status for someone being confident, because it's two very, very different things. No matter how amazing someone's life may look, trust me when I tell you, if they're bullying other people, they are not confident people. They're not whole people. They're not people who are healthy, and they're people that you want to stay away from if you can. So a lot of us have friends too, unfortunately, friends who want to bully us. And we think, oh, this is my friend, they're not actually bullying me. When actually, yes, it is a bullying behavior. We all know how friends can be in that way. Like you walk in and you think, hey, I'm looking good, I'm ready to go to the game. And then they give you this look. They're like, is that what you're going to wear? Then you're like, oh, do I not look good? No, you're fine, let's go. That's bullying. That's bullying. And it happens. Hi, Debbie. So we're going along and we're trying to deal with friends and family and people at work. And it's hard. And how do we deal with these people? For starters, we have to really accept and get it that when people are bullying us, it's about them. It's not about us. It's not about you. It isn't. Bullies are always about themselves. They're not pointing out something that's truly a weakness in you. That's not what they do. They're craving attention, and the way they get attention is when we become upset, we get emotional, we get angry, and that is the first thing we have to realize is that when someone's bullying us in that type of way, we have to do the best we can do to give them no emotional response at all. My friend Laura Preston on here, she always says when she doesn't want to give an emotional response to somebody, she thinks Botox, Botox face. You know how people always say that people who have Botox can't show any emotion in their face. And so Laura says that whenever she doesn't want to show emotion in a situation, she thinks, okay, Botox face, I don't want to show any emotion. And hi, Teresa. And so Russell said bullies come in groups and you can't win. You can't win, but you can get yourself away and you can handle them in ways that you can get past it and learn to navigate it. Laura's saying Botox, Botox, Botox. The next time somebody's saying something and you don't want them to know how you really feel about it, you have to just think Botox, Botox face. So that's what we have to do. We have to learn to, one of the first things, not show an emotional response to them at all. Don't appear nervous, don't appear insecure, don't appear defeated. You have to come across as if you're confident. Misty said, I just got back from getting Botox. And you have to be able to not let them see any emotion in your face. Another thing you want to do is you want to be able to have direct eye contact with the person. Now, when I say that, I don't mean give them the stink eye. I don't mean some big stare down. I mean have direct eye contact with them, look at them. When they're done saying whatever they're going to say, just have a little smile and go on about your way. Either leave the room, go on to another conversation. Just don't give them any emotional response. Don't let the tears well up. Botox, Botox, Botox. Think that. Don't let the tears well up. Don't get the, then they already know. Oh, she's pissed. You can't let them see that. That's their power. The second they see that you're angry or you're hurt or you're upset or you're feeling defeated, that's when they win. And that's when they are going, trust me, that's reinforcing what they're doing and they're going to keep it up. So what else can you do? What else can you do? You have to remember that if you don't give something energy, it dies. If you don't give something energy long enough, it dies. So at first, when all of a sudden you've changed up your response to this person and you aren't giving energy to anything they do anymore, what happens? They might even up it a little bit. They might say something worse. They might say, sorry, I'm reading one of these. My best friend hurt me recently when she said, you talk about your diet and surgery too much. You know what, Wendy? Somebody told me that too. A friend of mine told me, that's all you talk about anymore. And it's probably true. We do become a little obsessed with it because it's huge. It's paramount. It's what's going on in our life right now. But for someone to say that, they're not understanding where we're at and what we're walking through. And so Sherry said, that her 14-year-old daughter, she told her, don't react. Exactly right. Don't react. And, we have to remember that they're getting a payoff. Nobody does anything if they don't get a payoff for it. And their payoff, unfortunately, is intimidating and scaring you and trying to control you into doing what they want. And you give them power. They're feeding off of you. It's like a freaking video game when the power is surging back up, like you're giving them life. You're giving them life because they're getting to you and they're upsetting you. It's truly a sick place to be the bully, to be that person who's living off of someone else's sadness and pain. But the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to respond the same way they are. Don't buy into that. If they're gossiping and talking terrible about you, and let's just say you happen to have some pretty juicy info on them that no one knows, don't respond that way. Don't respond that way, because all it's going to do is exacerbate the situation, and it's going to snowball, and it's just going to continue. So we're talking about, we want the bullying to stop for us. We want our life and our situation to become a little easier for us. So these are things we can do to stop the bullying for us. Another thing, a lot of people will tell you that you should confront the bully. Absolutely not. I have worked in social services and been a therapist and a social worker for 25 years. Confronting the bully is giving the bully what they want. When they know that you're so upset that a confrontation is taking place, all you're doing is fueling their fire. You're giving them everything that they want. Now, I'm not talking specifically about kids in high school, or because that's different. When kids are getting bullied in school and in high school, I believe 100% the parent needs to go to school and you need to take care of it. There were different times when I had different children that I worked with who were getting bullied at school. Absolutely, I went to school. I advocated for those kids, and I didn't stop. The school sometimes will ignore that and they'll try to kind of gloss it over. When we're talking about kids, there's something as a parent that you can do to intervene, and I believe that we have to do that, because high school and elementary school is absolutely a totally different situation than I'm talking about here. So I just wanted to be clear about that. Always, I think always, we need to intervene and go to the authorities at the school and demand that it stops. And if it doesn't stop, go back. I went to the school so many times, not just about my son, but about children that I worked with. And so as adults, we have every right to advocate for the children. Wendy said at school she was called the Goodyear blimp and her parents never knew. And see, like, I hate that. That makes my heart suffer in silence, because you suffered in silence. And I know that feeling. There's so much in my life that I suffered in silence for, and it's a hurt we don't forget. It's etched on our soul. We don't have, I say this in my book, I don't have a delete trash bin in the memory of my soul. I can't just erase those things. I mean, they're tattooed on my brainstem. Can't forget them. But I can become a better person, and I can be a person who advocates for people so they don't get bullied in the same way. So the other thing that you do not want to do is physical confrontation. People say to me all the time, well, Kelly, maybe she just needs her butt kicked. Okay, like, that's a question, and let me just tell you, the answer is never physical confrontation, so leave it as a question, because that's only going to snowball into something even worse, if you can imagine. It's not going to be a good situation when you get in a physical confrontation. It will end poorly, I promise you, for everybody involved. The other thing is that as people, we need to stand up for other people who are getting bullied. It's hard. It's hard to be that voice, especially at work, because maybe the bully is your boss. And maybe if you stand up for someone and say something, maybe it will really have negative consequences for you. But it's always the question we're left with. Remember the TV show, What Would You Do? If you see someone getting bullied, when you stand there in silence and don't do anything, like you might say, well, everybody else laughed, but I didn't. Well, silence is approval. When you say nothing, silence is approval. And remember, evil exists when good people fail to act. So maybe you could just speak up and say something like, no one thinks that's funny. When someone's making fun of somebody else, just make a comment. No one thinks that's funny. And no one knows what to do then, because the bully loves an audience. And if you absolutely just are in a situation that you are like, I cannot speak up in my situation. My son just said, he who remains silent consents. Absolutely. And so if you absolutely can't do anything, walk away. Don't provide a good place for someone to abuse someone else and for someone to be able to bully someone else. Don't provide the audience, because that's what the bully wants. So then we have to be able to talk about it. We have to be able to process what we're going through. And I know a lot of people say, well, I don't have anybody I can trust. I don't have family. I don't have friends who I can sit down and talk to about these things. But you have online. If you're watching me right now, you have the ability to search online for people who will support you. Sometimes we have to search out our support. This weekend, and I'm going to get into this in a minute, someone wrote something incredibly rude on my page, a very bullying type of move. And of course, I blogged about it immediately. Within an hour later, there was a blog published. But as a result, another lady reached out to me, and she said, I put up a picture on my page, and people started saying things about it. Actually, she was in a support group, and she said people started saying things about it. They started making rude comments. She said, it broke my heart, and I took it down. And I asked her, will you please send the picture to me, and can I post it on my page? I said, I have wonderful women on my page. I have women who build up and support each other. And so I posted her on my page. And if you go on my page now, you'll see Mary said she was there. She got hundreds of responses from people on my page who absolutely were supporting her and telling her she was beautiful and reaching out to her and telling her you should have never taken your picture down. And there are people out there who will support you and who will have your back. And those are the people that you have to make part of your tribe, as we say. That's why I told her my page is a safe zone. If someone starts bullying on my page, they are out. And that sort of gives me the segue into the cyberbullying. The cyberbullying has become just crazy in this country. People, cowards, can just hide behind their computer. They can sit back, they can say whatever they want to say. The internet provides a great veil of anonymity for people to say what they want to say and for people to be able to treat people however they want to treat people. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And we talked earlier that people who've been bullied are twice as likely to bully someone down the road. So imagine that person who was bullied relentlessly in high school. And maybe they don't have a lot of friends now, but what they do have is a computer. And maybe they've never been able to get the support or get any kind of healing that they needed. And so here they are at home and they have a computer. They're unhappy. They're bitter. They're very, very unhealthy. And so what can they do? They can sit back and they can attack everybody. And it really is attacking. I always like to say that those keyboard warriors are like snipers of the soul, because they can viciously attack you and they're coming from somewhere you can't even see them. You don't know how to fire back. You don't know how to protect yourself because you can't even see it coming. They're snipers of the soul, and they're attacking and they're shooting down your joy and your self-esteem. And we absolutely have to protect ourselves from those people. So how do we do it? How do we respond to cyber bullies? Admittedly, it's a little more difficult because they have multiple profiles. They have all these different things. Oh, Alec, look, Bob Stone is on Facebook Live. Hi, Bob. Make sure you tell that beautiful wife of yours I said hello, also known as my daughter. And so the first thing that you have to do when you have someone who's bullying you on the internet is don't respond. Now, I know how hard this is. I know how hard it is to not respond. And I'm the first one to admit it. Y'all know I keep stuff real. I responded the other night. The other night when I had someone who came at me wild and crazy in a bully move on my page. Remember when I did my live the other night and I said that the stages of grief, that you can go through them that fast? I went through all 5 of them in literally 5 minutes. My very first response was denial. I'm like, what? Let me read this message again. Did I get this right the first time? And So I'm reading it. I'm like, I can't believe this person is saying this about me. And so what did I do? I walked right into bargaining. I responded on the message and I said, have you read my book? Have you read any of my blogs? Have you watched any of my lives? I'm the last person who tries to present as being perfect. That's what this person said, that I was fake and I tried to present as being perfect, that I used filters and photoshopped my pictures and blah, blah, blah. And I presented this picture of perfection that no woman could ever obtain. That's what she was saying to me. And so at first I did, and that was my bargaining stage. I was like, have you seen any of the things I've done, et cetera, et cetera. And then I went right into the anger stage because I was like, who is this person? She obviously knows nothing about me, and why am I letting myself get all worked up about her opinion of me? So then, but for a minute, I went right into feeling bad. Like I was just a little bit sad about it. I thought, everything I'm trying to do is support and lift up women who are hurting, and someone's going to come on here and say all that about me. And then I slid right into acceptance. And then I blogged about it. And I said, yes, my pictures, I use filters. I've been photoshopped. And you know what I did? I blocked her. I blocked her immediately. I never honestly ever thought in life that anyone who would meet me would expect me to look airbrushed. That's why the title, oh yeah, I forgot Mary. She said she won't follow me until I'm real. Well, babe, it don't get much realer than how I usually spew it out of this mouth of mine. Did you like that? It don't get. Yeah, I have a master's degree, but that's how I talk sometimes when I get worked up. You're not going to get any more real and honest and truthful than I have been. And so, no, so many people have met me. I have never once had anybody say to me, oh, I expected you to be airbrushed. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so I blocked her. That's the next thing. What do? You block them. That's the best thing that first, you don't respond. So take a lesson from me. Don't respond. I responded, and I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have given it any energy. And then I said, Laura said, you're not the queen of Crazy Town for nothing. Right. There's a reason I have that title. And she's lucky the queen didn't respond, because that would have been ugly, and I could have never taken that mess down. But I try very hard to respond with my rational self, not that emotional side of me that just gets worked up and is like, oh, I'll tell you something. I'll hurt your feelings in 2 minutes. See, I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be that girl. And that's why I didn't do it. Literally, in those just couple of minutes, I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going to respond to her the way she was coming at me. I even forgot that part that Mary said. She said, because a couple people saw it, and right away I was getting messages, private messages from people who were like, oh my gosh, this girl's talking about you, and I have a scathing reply. And it was the middle of the night. So Mary said, I carry my filters around. It's called touch-up makeup. Exactly. So I just made the decision. I said it in my blog. From now on, I'm not responding to any of those messages from anybody. They're just going to be blocked, and I'm going on with my day. That's just, and you know what? After I blocked her, she reached out to me on another social media platform saying, let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about with a bully. And so, no, I'm not going to do that. Once you get yourself blocked from me, that's the thing we have to realize. Bullies are bullies. And when they can't even accept or recognize that they're bullying, then no, that's not someone I want on my page. That's not someone I need to follow me. I support other women. I hold other women up. And never in my life would I look at someone else's picture and be like, I probably should let her know that she shouldn't put a filter on her picture. Who am I to say that about anybody? I'm no one. I mean, I'm not the social media police. I'm not the Photoshop police. And neither is anybody else. How hard is it to let someone else live? Let people live. Support people. If I see a picture and it's a pretty picture, I don't care if you put it through 5,000 filters. I'll be like, you rock, girl. You got it going on. Keep it going. Like my friend Amy always says to me, the bees come where the honey is. I love for everybody who's with me to look their best and to look fabulous. I'm never going to be that mean girl who's like, oh no, like she can't be my friend. She's too pretty. Never. But what I like is a pretty soul. I like a pretty soul. So you can be as beautiful as you are. If you don't have a pretty soul, You're not pretty. I say it on my website. Pretty is a verb. So, my favorite author, Steve Maraboli, he says he believes in forgiveness, but he said he also believes in block, mute, and delete. That's the way I'm going to deal with bullies on my page, and that's the way you need to too. So once you block them, what else can you do? You need to report them to that social media platform, because believe it or not, these social media platforms are pretty responsive to bullying when people are reported. So if you have bullying taking place that is like cyberbullying, report that person. Yes, they'll make another fake profile, but they are getting better at actually getting the IP addresses and blocking the computer, not just the profiles. So as they continue to make advances in that regard, then reporting these bullies will help with a lot of that behavior. We all know there are so many catfishes out there. There are so many people who are just fake and fraud, and they have nothing positive to add to your life or your circle or anything else. So don't get caught up with those people. When you figure out those people, there's Amy. Amy, I just talked about you. And Walk, I said about you saying, the bees come where the honey is. So be sweet. That's her whole point with that, kind of. And she knows what and walk means too. That's when you just let somebody know. You let them know, I'm not going to take your bullying. I'm better than this. I deserve better than this. That's your message, and you walk away and walk. Like I said, don't fall for the confrontation. But back to the cyberbullying. So then, as always, talk about it with the people you trust. And even if that's online, there's this wonderful group. I found this wonderful group, and it's called I Love Myself. Do you? There's over 100,000 members, and those are some very, very, very supportive people. You know, Nani said to me, one of the many things Nani said to me, she said, you know, unless somebody's paying your mortgage, your car payment, and all your bills, they don't get a vote in your life. And she's added to that and said, and even if they are paying all those things, your vote still trumps theirs. And what did that really mean? That meant don't give anybody else your power. Don't surrender your power to anybody else. And that's what bullies are commanding you to do. They're trying to make you do that. People have talked about me forever, 10 years ago, and this is like how I'm going to wrap this up, because ultimately the bullying thing comes down to self-love and self-worth and knowing that we're valuable. It's never easy to deal with a bully, but ultimately when we know our own worth, it doesn't matter what someone else says about us or to us. And about 10 years ago, there was a group of people. Amy will probably remember this. If Angelique is still on here, I know Angelique will remember it. And people who, when we would be places, would say to people, oh, that's a man in drag. And I would get so upset by that, because different people would come up to me and be like, this person just said you're a man in drag. And I would be so upset. I'd be like, why is somebody telling people I'm a man in drag? Today, I'd be like, you want to call me a drag queen? Fine. Because drag queens are some of the most beautiful human beings I've ever seen. And honey, their makeup is on point. So you want to call me a drag queen today? I don't care. I have zero you-know-whats to give if you want to call me a drag queen. I don't care. So, but 10 years ago, those kind of comments really bothered me, because I didn't have that value. I didn't have that self-worth. I didn't have the self-love I needed to have to not let those things bother me. And more recently, the big thing that people have been posting on my lives, posting on my page, is asking me, oh, are you transgender? I just respond. I shouldn't have responded, but I did respond. And I just said, LOL. It's kind of fascinating and curious to me that someone is really concerned with the fact of whether or not I was born with a penis or a vagina. What does that have to do with any of the messages that I promote about self-worth and self-love? I mean, forget the fact I actually went through childbirth, but the fact is I don't owe those people an answer. I don't have to give those people an answer. They're no one to me. It doesn't matter what they think. They don't pay my bills. They don't have any weight in my life at all. And so I find it laughable I sit back and I'm just like, oh my God, LOL. And a long time ago, 10 years ago, it would have absolutely crushed me. I would have been devastated. I would have been crying. I used to say to Angelique, I'd say to Amy, why are these people saying I'm a man? And it really got me worked up. And I'm sure whoever the people were saying it from behind the scenes, and they could see people telling me that, and I would be like, I don't know why anybody is saying this stuff about me. And I'm sure it just fed their fire. I'm sure they absolutely loved the fact that I got worked up about it. But today, 10 years later, and the last 2 years that you all know I've been very open about it, has been such a healing journey for me. Opening up about the abuse I suffered, opening up about the trauma in my life and the journey I've had to discover my self-worth and find my peace and my joy. Doing all of that. Hi, Cindy. Cindy said she rushed home from work. Aw, bless your heart. Bless your heart in a good way, not a bad way. I always heard bless your heart as a good way. And lately people have been telling me that sometimes when people say bless their heart, it's not a compliment. So when I say bless your heart, I mean bless your heart in a good way. Let me just make that clear. Bless your heart in a beautiful way. So anyhow, after I've gone through my journey of healing and finding my self-worth, you can call me transgender, you can call me a drag queen, you can call me the homecoming queen of crazy town. Like, I own that. I got the sash and the tiara to prove it. But what you can't do is take my self-worth. That's something you can't take from me. There's no way you're going to get it. I've got it. It's mine. I worked my butt off to discover it and to figure it out. And guess what? You don't get to claim my glory. God himself created me, and I am perfectly imperfect in every single way. I don't pretend to be perfect. I don't pretend that I have this perfect body and the perfect face. And guess what? When you meet me, I'm not airbrushed. This is me. I don't even know if it's possible to do a filter on Facebook Live. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. But I can tell you that most people who meet me say to me, oh my gosh, you're so much prettier in person. Enough, and I said this in my blog, enough that when I talked to Lori, I said, my pictures must be booty, because people always say I look better in person. And I thought, I think they're pretty good. I thought they were pretty good pictures. But I think what it is that you come to life in person. Your personality comes out. You can't, Amy, I'll comment on that in a minute. You can't hide who you are in person. You can't hide your soul. It bounces out from your eyes. You can't hide who you really are. So I'm a person who's filled with a lot of joy and happiness and a lot of hope and faith. And you can trust and believe I'm going to lift up every single possible human being that I can, because I feel like that's my mission in life. I've been in the darkest of dark places. I've survived the unthinkable, and I absolutely am going to help every person I can. God saved me for a reason, and I'm not going to let some mean girl, mean girls, mean woman, mean man, mean whatever stop me on my mission to help all of us become the best that we can be. And so I think that's the key to it all. We need to know who we are. Know who we are. You may not be there yet. Maybe you're at the beginning of your journey of learning to love yourself and learning to find your self-worth. That's okay. Guess what? You never get to the finish line. You're always working on it. We all have days where we're like, oh man. I mean, look at me. How long ago was it? Texting people I shouldn't be texting. But hey, let that one go. That's behind me. Now I'm moving on to something else. What I know for sure is what my truth is. And when someone's bullying you, when someone's making you feel less than, you have to be able to stop yourself and say, what is my truth? My truth is I'm pushing forward in my life. I'm doing everything I can to promote the message of my book. I'm doing everything I can to help other women heal, to help survivors heal, to help people find their joy and their strength and their value. And the only way that I lose sight of that is when I start looking at my obstacles and I don't look at my goal. So obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off your goal. And when things get hard and when things get really difficult and dark, sometimes I have to remind myself, okay. What is my truth? What is my truth? My truth is I'm pressing on to my goal. I'm pressing on to become my best self. And that is what we each have to do every day. Know what your truth is. There's Lori. Lori will know. Lori Adams Hughes is on here, and Lori knows. I've been talking about her. Everybody who's read the book knows. That's Lori, the BFF. And Lori will tell you, I don't know if Angelique's still on here, but those people who said that I was a man in drag all those years ago, when, as my friend Amy said, I was rocking the a skirt that was so short, we called it the because there wasn't enough material to be a skirt. So when I was rocking that Lori will tell you, that's when the people would say, she's a man in drag. That's a man. And I would be so heartbroken about it. I'd be so devastated. I'm letting you guys know you can get yourself from where I was to where I am today. Today, it doesn't upset me. If people want to think I'm a drag queen, okay. If people want to think I'm transgender, I don't care. Think what you want to think. It doesn't matter. Not one bit of my self-worth is wrapped up in what anyone else thinks about me. And that's why I also am saying, as I'm wrapping it all up, talk to someone. I have my friends who I talk to. Lori hears it constantly. Amy hears it. Laura hears it. People who hear me say, oh my gosh, today this happened and I felt like this, and this. And then we build each other back up again. That's really why we're all here. We're here to support each other, to lift each other up, and to help each other believe in ourselves. It's such a hard journey to walk. The trauma people go through, the bullying people go through, all of the hurt feelings and the broken hearts and the things that should have never happened, the things we've suffered through that shouldn't have happened to us in our lifetime, but they did. And we're trying our best to just survive and get through life and find our own happiness. That's why we need each other. That's why we need people who support us. We need the right people in our circle. And I'll tell you, happy and secure people don't bully other people. They absolutely don't bully other people. And this is what I can tell you. Lori said to me, when she finds good quotes from me, she emails them to me or she'll text them to me and she'll say, hey, this is an awesome one. Well, one night we were talking about quotes and she told me, she said, I thought of a perfect quote for you, one that you really have to incorporate in your life. And so she shared this quote with me and I was like, oh yeah, I love it. And every time I get worked up, every time I get upset about something, because I'm human, I still do, and I need somebody to bring me back to that point of what is my truth. And Lori says to me, people don't have to like you and you don't have to care. Let that sink in for a minute. People don't have to like you and you don't have to care. That's a powerful, powerful piece. And when you can incorporate that, the next time somebody's bullying you at work, the next time that aunt at the damn family reunion is saying, Kelly didn't get nothing but fat, you just hear that in your mind. A, think Botox face. Botox face. And then B, just think, you know what? You don't have to like me and I don't have to care. And own that. Own it. Because that's the only way that we start to get to a place that we're proud of who we are and that we can go home. And instead of going home and crying the whole way home, I'm sure we've all been there. Haven't you been there? Haven't you drove home from somewhere and just cried all the way home because you just thought, oh my gosh, this is just so hurtful. My life will never be what I want it to be. I'm never going to get where I want to be. Oprah's never going to call about my book. I have those moments, but I know Oprah's calling. Oprah, hit your girl up. I know you want to talk about my book. And so anyway, when you have those moments, you just have to be able to, don't just dry your tears. Dry your tears because your day is coming and you are the person who gets to plan out your future. No one else. what someone else thinks of you, like someone just said on here, what other people think of us is none of our business. It's really none of our business. And we need to not give it any weight at all. So that will be the last thing I'm going to say. Don't give these bullies power. No power. Don't give them, don't feed their energy. Think of that video game, like when their life is like in losing all their energy, and then you're upset and you're, like you're all worked up instead of Botox face, like instead of that, when they see you upset, you just fill up their energy and they've got life and they're going on to like keep it up and be relentless. Don't give the bullies the power. Don't. And when you see somebody being a mean girl, don't have problems saying, that's, no one's laughing and it's not even nice. It's not that hard to be nice, but you know what? When you are nice, it makes a difference in the other person's life. You don't know. That could be exactly what that person needed that day to get through the day. I get messages all the time from people who tell me, like, I read your book, I cried from cover to cover, and it was exactly what I needed today. And that lets me know I'm on the right path until Oprah calls or Ellen calls. I'm putting it out there, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, all of them need to call. Until they do call, though, I'm going to keep on keeping on. And I'm going to keep on letting all of you know that from me and Lori and all the people who are in my tribe, remember, you are perfectly imperfect in every possible way. Celebrate yourself every single day. God didn't make any mistakes when he made you, and people don't have to like you. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to care. And that's when you would say, and walk. So, okay, I promised I was going to give away a book on this broadcast. So, write down the favorite thing that you liked during this live, and I and a couple of my cohorts here will pick out someone to give the book to, okay? Just let me know some of the stuff you liked from this. I know it's been kind of long. Oh, I go on and on and on sometimes. Okay, well, guess what? There's been a Rottweiler here this whole time, and any of you who follow my page, you know my dogs are the picture of disobedience. And Alec got Jingle Bell and Rocket Pop down in the basement with him, but Lily said, no, I ain't going anywhere. Like, see? Lily. Lily made a rare appearance. So, she has been here. She's been good. She hasn't barked. She hasn't acted up. She's the good one. She's the good one. They're all good, but Rocket Pop is like the best bad dog ever. So anyway, stay strong in who you are. And remember, no one else gets to define who you are. Just you. All right, love. See you later. Let me know. Let me know what you learned so that I can give away a book. Okay. Bye-bye.